Hola. Hello.
All right. This time it's for Written in the Sky. Good short book.
Yeah, it was a nice, easier read.
Interesting.
I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like because I can see so much of me and not enough of you.
Oh, that's okay. I can sneak in.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I'm also like, okay.
Let's see. Okay, well, the first question was, why did Calpio,
The author.
the author, yeah, choose to incorporate Hawaiian legend or tradition in this story? Isn't he Hawaiian?
I think so. Based on his last name, it looks like he'd be.
And his picture in the book, too.
I got the ebook.
He looks like he's part.
Yeah, he's totally.
Hawaiian.
But yeah, ancient Hawaiians first. Oh, he's written other. His other books are about Hawaiian legend.
Yeah.
And look, this is about his experiences. Huh. Interesting.
I thought this was like real.
He lives in
events.
Eva Beach. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely got some Hawaiian in him.
Yeah. So I think that he would obviously want to incorporate this because if he has like a passion for like Hawaiian culture and things like that. And I think it was cool because it kind of tied it all together because you didn't find out till later, but you're like, why is this dude having some crazy dreams?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. That's what I was like.
Drugs or like what is going on?
Yeah.
So I think that was a good way to incorporate that legend into, like, he comes from this great ancestry of Hawaiian priests and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think, well, I mean, I'm sure, like, culture is a big part of, and since he lives here, too, he's, like, around it all the time, and I feel like if that's, like, a part of him, like, why not, like, incorporate that, you know?
Yeah. Makes
things kind of more meaningful in that way.
It makes me impressed to see how much I read. Okay, so in what ways does the author make Hawaiian tradition relevant for contemporary readers? I guess I have to think of the word like tradition in like a non-typical sense.
Hawaiian tradition.
Because I think of Hawaii, I mean like, you think of the like aloha spirit. I guess I'm gonna put this towards Hawaiian tradition. Like everyone's so kind and they try to like take care of one another, look after one another. So I think that he kind of shows that. I mean, we talked about like both of like our thesis, right? That like there's always people there to help, like eat like the Aina, take care of the Aina, the Aina will take care of you.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those things where he's like throwing in a bunch of like cool Hawaiian thinking or like ideas, applying him in this book and the story. Yeah.
I think that's kind of what I thought too. I don't know, like as I was reading, I felt like I could like think of times where if I heard certain words even here or like the way they talked in the book.
Yeah.
Like you could like
hear the pigeon.
I
love it.
And you know, it's like since we live here we kinda like see all that. And so I don't know.
I was like legit reading it in pigeon. Like there is, I wonder, like, let's see if I can find it. I will not say that line. That might get me in trouble. Holy what?
Just the other day though, I had a couple of my friends who were born here and they're Hawaiian. They were telling me how to speak pidgin, and so when I was hearing it in the book, I was like, hey.
Yeah. No, that's as funny as my husband's from here. I taking you social services. They're going to take care of you. That's what I'm going to do first thing. Like it's just so funny because when I was reading, I'm like legit reading it, and then when I was reading the McDonald's part and it talks about the Filipino cashier, so bad, but I was totally reading it in the thing like 41 cents, please. Like it's so funny. to me that, like, I hear this.
Well, as I was reading those, like, sentences too, I was like, 41 cents. And then I'm like, wait, that kind of does sound like the way their accent would sound.
I have an auntie that's straight from the Philippines, and every time I listen to her talk, it's so funny to hear her say things, because I'm like, what? I'm like, wow, sorry, I forget.
That's funny.
So, no, I think that, yeah, it's honestly, it kind of makes it fun to read.
Mm-hmm.
And it also, like, gives a real sense to Hawaii. Like, pidgin's, like, a real
Mm-hmm.
thing. Hawaiian pidgin is considered a real language. Happened a couple of years ago.
That's interesting, because
But
it's like basically English, but not, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, like, oh, some grinds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's different meanings for different words.
Mm-hmm.
The English is horrible. We have so many different meanings for different words. But, yeah, like two.
Mm-hmm.
The word two has, like, 3 different meanings.
I actually didn't know that.
Two.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I
okay, no, I
mean?
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like to and going to the store and
So,
me too.
English is not one to talk. Okay, so how does race affect the relationship of characters in the novel? Gender, class, give specific examples, including page numbers. Oh. Alright, I didn't read the page number part.
Surprise, surprise.
Didn't read the page
How
number
does
part.
race affect the relationship of characters in the novel?
And then, like, with gender and class. Well, we talked about this, though. You know what I mean? Like, so, where is it in here?
When he's talking about Howley's...
Yeah, so, yeah, in the very first part, right?
I think that's in the beginning somewhere in the book.
It is.
When he's, like, walking through this
Right.
town or whatever.
Well, he sits there and says that, like, he's kind of explaining himself, like, a slim, golden-faced, or golden-skinned face, sun-bleached dreadlocks, thin nose, green eyes, you know, from an unknown Caucasian father, blah, blah, blah. And then he said he wasn't bad-looking, even though he was part Hawaiian for years. Other children had called him Stupid Howley. Like, yeah, he doesn't look Hawaiian. But when we talk about, like, when he met Hawaiian, the guy, the homeless man, he sits there and says, in here, he asks him for his name, and he tells him what his name is, and then he said,
I'm Hawaiian too.
yeah, I'm Hawaiian too. And then, you know, like, right on, Hawaiian, we gotta watch out for each other. Yeah, as Hawaiians, we rare breed nowadays. Like, basically saying...
That was on page 28.
28, yep. That, you know, this is something that, like, they're, like, connected or tied together, even though they don't know each other, but because they're both Hawaiian, like, it's something that creates this unity.
Yeah.
And I think that like, it definitely affects the relationship between these two, because even though they're really only together for, like, less than one night, like, he forms a bond with this guy that, like, affects him throughout the story.
Yeah.
So, and then another good example.
I can't remember the page number for this, but I think because they had that bond, because they both were, like, Hawaiian, I guess. I don't know, like, I think that sometimes, like, people would describe, like, white people as being more wealthy and having more money, and so I think that I thought that as I was reading the book, that, like when he talked about, oh, I see tourists walking around, and I see families, and I see white people, whatever, however he says it, and, like, I guess you could use that for, like, class, is, I don't know, I'm not good with my words, but you know what I'm saying?
No, he feels, like, alienated from him. Like, he sees all these people, but yet, like, it's just a different, well, that's what's funny, is I feel like he feels alienated, like, even when he was saying, like, when he was watching the homeless guy eat out of the trash in the mall, how he's watching all these people watch him, and he, like, feels bad for him, but then, like, also, like, understands, like, I don't know, there's just, like, this level, like, this level thing. Oh, jeez. That guy. Oh, gosh.
Distractions.
Yeah, the worst. No, like he feels alienated from all of these like people, but at the same time he feels connected to everyone.
Mhm.
Like he cares for everyone. That's something that shows in his character development,
Mhm.
that he strongly cares for all of these random people that he doesn't know or he like barely comes around, but he is constantly trying to like do something for them. Okay,
that's very true.
Another one I thought of too was Gladness. Such a sweet old
Cute
lady.
name.
Gladness. So she's the frail Chinese woman, right? But I think it's because she's older too. I feel like it created that like bond with her unknowingly, because like his own grandma and growing up being raised by your grandma, like you feel a connection to older people. So I think that this kind of helped this relationship work out, because he was used to helping his grandma. She obviously went downhill from like diabetes and cancer and stuff, so he was used to helping out, was helping her, like making friends and like just like I don't know, even though they were different, like different races, different genders, different classes, like they still like he was friends with everyone, man. Yeah, what a trooper.
He's a Christ-like person.
So nice. So nice.
No, yeah. That was one thing that I enjoyed about the book, was like who he was like as a person. I was like, man, this kid is like so insanely nice. Like
that was page 108, 107, 108, 109. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. He was really a nice guy. When did two or more of the above factors come together to influence the way a character is treated or interacts with the world? Again, give specific examples. Well, I mean, like, we can use the example of, again, like, him watching the homeless man eat the stuff out of the garbage. Like, you can see the difference between, like, he even brought it up. He brought it up between, like, the... Sorry, I'm, like, taking over your book here.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. You're good at finding pages. My eyes would be, like, scrambling.
He talks about how, like, all these different people are watching him. So, like, there's... dang it, where is it?
Class and gender. Well, just the homeless people.
They're all treated differently. Like, even so, like, the jogger. Like, there was a jogger, he'll always try to, like, say hi and smile, and, like, they'll just ignore him. Like, kind of where, because he's homeless or because he's, like, maybe not well kept, like, people automatically... like treat them poorly. Yeah. Which is sad.
They see what's on the outside.
So sad. Dang it. I wish I could find this. But they talked about like the Japanese people are just watching and not necessarily like
oh, like when that couple walks by on the bike path or something past him and like he waves or something, and I think they were nice, if I can remember, like in one part.
Yeah, there's like at the end, the mom has like, she's pushing a kid in a stroller, she's jogging. She like he smiles and waves and she smiles back.
Oh yeah,
like,
she was nice.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I maybe not all people are bad. I think after that experience, he was like, oh, I think there still are good people.
Right. Dang it, I wish I could find that.
I don't know why this question is kind of racking my brain a little bit. Every two more of the above factors come together to influence the way characters treated or interacts with.
Oh, and I really like, this is where it talks about the guy was like, basically, homeless man's going through the garbage, pulls out discarded fries and a leftover shake. And then he wondered if anyone else noticed. Several Japanese tourists didn't seem to care. A young mainland tourist couple watched with disgust, and their curious child pointed. But a store clerk on an early lunch break chased after the man to share some of her food. Like, so basically, like, and almost kind of showing that some people aren't going to notice it or not going to care. Other people are going to be, like, so disgusted and grossed out by it. Like, why are they going through the trash? Blah, blah, blah. And then some people are actually going to care. Like, let me make sure this is like... Some people actually care about others and will want to do something about it. And I think it's like a good example of like his own character as he goes throughout, like when he gets all that McDonald's food and he like shares it with everyone, regardless if they're like social and talk to him. Like he shares it with everyone because like it becomes like his little family.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That was on 58, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this part, but when at the end of the story, the gang members get like arrested.
Oh yeah.
And the cops come.
Yeah.
And that's
it's one of my quotes.
Yeah, that reminds me. It's one of your quotes. Do you have it written?
Yeah, it's one of my quotes.
Because I wonder what page
it says. Oh, I can't say his name. Hid behind the tree that had protected them in the night Hawaiian died. He watched the police escort the killer and the campers from the park. He was glad and didn't have to testify, but sad to see his friends forced out of their haven. He knew that most of them would return the following day, but he still felt guilty at being the only one who could stay. That's like, I quoted from that section, but...
Well, I guess, like, when... Like, as the guy, the leader of the gang, was getting arrested, he was like, well, these homeless people are a problem. They're not even supposed to be here.
Oh, yeah.
And the police were like, you guys aren't supposed to be here. It's for your safety. But I almost feel like it was like, you guys are homeless and, we are police officers and, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it was like, just the class is like, you know?
Yeah, you kind of felt like no matter, like, even though they weren't in the wrong and they were in the right by basically, like, stopping this guy from hurting others. Because, again, like, it's never justified to hurt anyone. That it just, he, sorry, I got distracted. That...
You can't justify hurting someone.
Well, yeah, you can't justify hurting someone, but at the same time, like, they're getting in trouble for just being there. So you're just like, what the heck? Like,
yeah.
He's obviously in the wrong. Like, which wrong is more worse than the other?
Exactly.
But they enforced both, like, we're going to arrest him, and then, two, we're going to, like, kick you guys out of your home.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of sad.
Like, I guess it's, like, the law and whatever, but at the same time, it's, like, I'm trying to... Like, in my mind, I was like, just be good people, just let them stay there, because they're going to come back anyways. Yeah. It's like, they're not going to show up the next day, because it even said in the book, like, there's a part where it's like, Ika, whatever, was saying, the police are going to leave, and we're going to end up going back. They're going to all going back to the park anyways, so I don't know why they're kicking them out. Yeah. And it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I work with him and he's fun.
Oh, really? Oh, what Climeworks?
Yeah, he's fun. Yeah, no, I think that it's interesting. Like, I don't know, I like that the book gave a lot of different perspectives. Like, I loved, like, the girl that he met on the bus. Like, she was nice. Too. And even though she was kind of, like, prying to be like, oh, you know what I mean? She, like, remained nice and remained friendly, even though maybe he wasn't the friendliest. Like, I don't know. I just love that they gave a lot of different examples of people being nice and being caring, and then they gave examples of people that, like, were just straight up jerks. You know what I mean? Because there's both. There's a lot, like, a very wide difference in society today.
She was very comfortable, and she seemed, like, concerned about his safety, too. Which I thought, I was like, why is she so persistent? Like, why is she, like, you know, like, pushing so hard for him to, like, tell her things about his life? I don't know. So it was like, but in a good way. It was like, okay, that's cool that she, like, you know. Yeah. It almost makes you think that she might have experience with, I don't know, family members being homeless, or, like, maybe something in her life where she's like, are you okay? You know?
That's what I kind of like. So I thought it was interesting, like, him using, he's from Hawaii, so he, like, I don't know, like, it's a good thing. But Ala Moana Beach Park is, like, or even Ala Moana Park, like, it's a really common area for homeless to be. Even, like, around the Alawai, like, all these different places. So I think that, like, the setting of Honolulu, and specifically, like, Ala Moana, like, it, like, I don't know, like, people are used to it. You know what I mean? Like, when you live here, you, like, really come, like, accustomed to, like, homeless people.
Like, no, it's true.
Even living out here, like, I come across homeless people all the time, and like before, I never saw so many living in Arizona, but being here, it's so common that like, I guess, I don't know.
No, yeah, I see homeless people. Like, I live right across from Hukilau, and I'm like, my house is right on the street, basically. My driveway comes right onto the street, and like, there's always homeless people, like, with their carts, just like along the road, always passing me. So yeah, I see them all the time too.
And it almost creates like a, like, because you see it so much. I think it would be different. Like, obviously, like when it's a man, you're maybe like, as a woman, you're like a little frightened. Like a 14-year-old boy, you know what I mean? I think it'd be so easy to have compassion and be like, oh my gosh, like, what's wrong? How can we help?
Yeah,
Things like that. Yeah. What are we gonna do?
Let's just carry it and walk out, and we'll still talk. Okay.
Interesting.
Hold on 1 second. Let's go to that. Okay, let's just go to the corner. Okay, so we're gonna relocate. We will, but.
You want me to hold it?
You hold I'll hold it.
I'll hold your computer.
Okay. Gonna go out this way. No, you're good. You're good. Okay. Should we just walk outside?
It's up to you.
I don't care. I actually don't care. Alright, so. We've got 8 minutes left.
Sorry for the interruption.
So the last question. What messages does the novel send about a particular theme? Okay, these are quotes.
Yeah. And we talked about how our thesis ideas were similar. You want to do yours first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go. Okay. So, mine was in Written in the Sky, the author Matthew, blah blah blah, shows how we each have a purpose on this earth through the characters' point of views and special experiences the boy hears and sees. And then the quotes I used were, he thanked God for leading him to Mariah Wong and for all that she had shared with him. Visiting her had brought him acceptance of his grandmother's death and helped him find inner peace. He now knew that he was really somebody. And then the second quote I used was, Dr. Owlfeather said, God has a plan for each of us in the world, and I believe you will do miraculous things in life. You may feel like you're all alone, but there are many people looking out for you. Just remember to see the good in all things and learn to trust and follow your inner voice.
I love that quote.
Yeah, it was good. I like the fact that he was like a Indian guy too. Like, it was like kind of fun. It was like in the midst of all this like certain culture. It's like, here's this guy who's like from somewhere else and like teaching these students.
I love that they use Native American because I felt like it's like it is so closely related or like similar to like Hawaiians. So I think it was cool that they brought that in.
No, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Oh, are yours not on here?
No, mine's right here, but I can pull mine up. So my thesis, I said that Matthew Capil wrote this short story but compelling novel, Written in the Sky, to teach the message of you are never truly alone through the use of character, setting, and conflict resolution. The first quote I did was, everybody gets struggles in life. It's not for punish us but make us strong. Whatever choices we make get consequence. I had to go to prison to learn that. If I can just save one kid from making the same mistake, my life not wasted. And that was Hawaiian when he wrote in his book. And then quote 2 was, Ikaoilani hid behind the tree that protected him the night Hawaiian died. He watched the police escort the killer and the campers out from the park. He was glad he didn't have to testify, but sad to see his friends forced out of their haven. He knew that most of them would return the following day, but he still felt guilty for being the only one who could stay. And I like that the last quote just because the story behind it, like these people that he's been taking care of, like throughout the whole book, doing small little things for and helping them, and then at the very end when he needed help, they all came to his rescue and they all were like, don't mess with my boy. That's our boy. Like, just kind of funny how they
all like a little family almost.
Yeah, they presumed like ownership for him.
there. Let's see. So I was looking up themes for the book. Sometimes I struggle to come up with my own, even though I kind of understood this book a lot better. But some of the themes that the internet was saying was, I guess. Oh, this isn't it. Well,
I do
okay, that's okay.
You mentioned it earlier, and I thought it was a good thing that you can almost tie it to the gospel so well. Like even your thesis, I mean, we all have a purpose. Though his circumstances were not ideal, or he kept going through challenge after challenge. He slowly and through all these different obstacles was finding his own sense of purpose. And I think it's so important that I think it's a smart way to teach kids through stories like these. Yeah, I think in a gospel aspect, it's a perfect way of the gospel applies to everyone.
Yeah.
This idea of we all have a purpose applies to everyone, regardless if we know it or use it all or think about it. Hawaiian killing 3 people because he stole a car, and you know what I mean? Okay, but he found purpose in life later to be okay, I'm gonna help who I can, do what I can. This is gonna be my drive or my goal.
I do really like that. The book kind of made me sad, not gonna lie. In some parts I was oh, this is sad for me to read, and didn't really want to finish reading it because it kind of reminded me of some parts of my life that are happening, and but I also really respected that the author was able to tie in that spiritualness along with the story, and it's something that we could relate to because we're LDS, and there's parts where you'd be you just need to in the last part of the book it said you just need to ask God and he'll help you. And I don't know, it's nice to hear stuff like that.
I loved it in the beginning of the book when he says he loves dawn and dusk the most because it's when God is closest to the earth and can hear and will answer prayers. I'm that's so interesting. Yeah, because I think of for us, we learn to pray morning, in the morning and at night.
That's right. I never thought about that.
But
it's interesting. It froze. Oh no. Please don't die. Should we just pause it?
Yeah, what the heck happened?